Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Generational Health with my beautiful co-host, Ms. Whitney. How are you today?
I am well today. What about yourself? How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. We got a little flash flood going on though outside, but inside we're gonna reflect some sunshine. How about that?
Oh, good. Sounds good. I'm down.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited that you're down about entrepreneurship.
Yes, yes. We'll be talking about that today. I'm excited.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what spawned us to talk about entrepreneurship is because, you know, for me, I didn't grow up in a household that of entrepreneurs. My mom and my dad were both, 9 to 5. They were, blue. Well, I don't want to say blue collar, no, because my mom was in a hospital, worked at the hospital, but they didn't aspire to, to start a business or to be entrepreneurs. They were okay with the paycheck to paycheck. So I don't know where the entrepreneurial spirit. Let me go back. I didn't know where the entrepreneurial spirit came from until I had a conversation with my great aunt. Right about 2 weeks before she passed away, we had a conversation, and the light bulb just came on, and I was like, "Oh my gosh! I didn't know entrepreneurs in our family until she and I had this conversation." And she just went back. We can learn so much from the conversations of our elders. And she just went to pouring about how she was a hat maker, and I was like, that's why I love hats. It's in my blood. She talked about being a hat maker. She talked about opening a salon in her house and then moving to actually a physical location, and how she did all of this on her own. And I
Mm.
said, bingo, that's where the entrepreneurial spirit came from. So it doesn't have to just be from your immediate mom and dad or what you grew up in your household, but I think it's in your genes. What do you think, my darling?
Mm. I think it's in my genes, but I love this. I love the fact that we have generational conversations because things come out that just are, I don't know, just different. Like, so for me, because you had that conversation, well, not had that conversation, but because you moved into entrepreneurship and that's a part of who you were, my upbringing then was completely opposite. So I was always surrounded with entrepreneurship. So it was like, essentially whenever I tried to do something different, there was always this tug in me, like, but you could own that, like, but you could run it. You could be like, as opposed to like, I remember working for a law firm, maybe it's been 10 years ago already. So working at a law firm, and I had to walk through downtown at like 6:30 a.m. in the morning from my parking structure, because they wouldn't validate parking in the parking structure where the law firm was located. It was like 3 blocks away, around the corner and a block. And so it's dark at night or dark in the morning. And I just remember coming out of the parking structure, walking, shaking my head like, there has to be a better way. Like there has to be some different, like this
Right,
is not how life has to be. Like
right.
someone, I just, the way that I see entrepreneurship is like everything that exists was an idea that came to fruition. Every building that we pass is because someone had an idea, like, and there was an architect, and then that architect had a firm. And then I don't know, my mind I ignite when I think about entrepreneurship because it just allows you to be creative, and it allows you to like bring things into the world that literally only existed in your head. And to me, that's like just this enormous gift that we have as people. So for me, I'm like, I've always been surrounded by it. I feel like it's a part of the fabric of who I am. I tried to do photography as a major when I was in college. It was like, what am I doing? Like, I was just trying to do something different, but ultimately it just, everything that I've studied has always landed me back to, but I could own that. Like, I could run that.
See, that's how you know a true entrepreneur. And we had a conversation on one of our podcasts about nature versus nurture, and you just kind of we both kind of just kind of look to both of those, like what's in our DNA. And I'm, again, like I said, other than me being not, I wasn't even raised around entrepreneurship, but one of my earlier mentors, and she's since gone now, but her name was Paulette. She took me under her wing, and she gave me the idea or the notion that while we were working, that we could use the money that we were working to finance or fund our entrepreneur endeavors. So she was the first person that ignited it. And like you said, it is an ignitement. So she showed me, she had a nail business. She actually had, everything was so unique with her creativity. So she had a nail business out of her home. She had a tax business out of her home, and she ran an apartment complex. So that showed me that, wait a minute, it can be done.
Yeah.
And so, and everything was unique. And what I loved about it is that her nail salon was her own. Like, she served wine to the ladies. She helped the ladies to their cars so that they wouldn't mess their nails up. And she did all these little extra pampering things for them. But this is the ironic thing. Even though she poured that entrepreneurship into me, the job as a director for the apartment complex, she became so engrossed in that till she stopped servicing her clients with the nails. She stopped taking appointments. She stopped growing her firm, her tax firm. So it actually consumed her. And one of the last conversations that we had, she regretted that so much because she said she allowed it to suck her life out of her.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about a 9 to 5 personally. I think that there are some people that can get tucked in and nestled into a 9 to 5, and they're comfortable there. And that's okay, no judgment. But for the people that are the entrepreneurs, we don't light up, ignite, or get excited unless we're in a I would say in an office supply store.
Yes. I completely agree. I think, I don't know, some people may disagree with me in this regard, but it's okay. We can have different perspectives. And but I think that everybody could do anything. But I think some things, like some people were just created for certain things. It's like, when it comes to entrepreneurship, I always thought, oh, well, yeah, anybody can do this. Like, I would have conversations if a friend was like, oh, I like to do nails, immediately it'd be like, okay, well, you can make this, or you could do this, or you could do this, and then they would get like flustered. Like, they'd be like, oh, okay, thank you. Like, but they didn't want that. They didn't have this drive inside to push beyond, because entrepreneurship is not easy. It's extremely rewarding, but it is not easy. And it'll make you want to quit and stop and like go back and get another job, which will only last a couple months at, because then entrepreneurship will call you right back out. But like, I realized a while ago that like, oh, this is a special calling. Like, it's special to be an entrepreneur. Like, it's not something that everybody is excited about or that everybody would want to take on. Like, it feels like a burden to some people. I have a friend who operates a business as well, kind of out of her home, but like doing paperwork and all that other stuff, she was just explaining how like flustered and frustrated, and like, she's like, I just want to do the thing. I don't want to run the business. I just want to do the thing. But with entrepreneurship, when you're starting, it's like, you gotta run the business and like deliver the service and like, make sure all your paperwork and documents are in order. And for me, like, both parts of that excite me. And I think that that's part of the formula. Like, if people get lost on either one of those, and it doesn't mean you have to do all of that yourself, but I think if people are like, oh no, I just don't want to touch that, or I just don't want to touch that side, that's where that frustration comes in. You have to. You don't have to like do your taxes all the time, but you need to understand it when you're talking to the tax person, so that you like, have a general sense of what's going on in the health of your business and finances. I could talk about this stuff all day.
I'm telling you. But everything that you just said was so true, because I have a gift of seeing the gift in other people, and I'm realizing my gifts, and we all have these unique fingerprints. We're so unique. And so entrepreneurship is just, from the time I knew that it was possible, has been in my fiber. Everything. It's been, my thing is exactly what you just said. I think that is a true gift for both. I love to do the thing. I love to create and organize the business, but working in the paperwork part of it, that frustrates me.
Yeah.
And so I get that. But you do, we just took the Kobe assessment, and I saw myself in every aspect, being all, like the person that can it's running out of my head right now, but the person that is the quick starter, and that's me. I will quick start in a minute on you. You can tell me 1, 2, 3, and if it makes sense, I saw the beginning, I saw the end, the middle. We're gonna jump out the plane and build it going down. And then, but you need the person to say, wait a minute, now you got to estimate how far to the ground. And see, I've already jumped, and they're like, hold on, let me get. So I needed you. I used to never tell people, wait, everything that a wife does, I need a wife and I need a husband and I need this in order, because I keep jumping out the plane and it's like, okay, where's the landing strip? There you go. Go find me a Whitney, because right now, where do I go? How do I turn this thing? Oh shoot, I gotta pull the parachute down. So those things is, in the entrepreneur world, that would drive other people around you totally batty, because you're like, hey, wait. So what I had to learn, and I thank Earl Nightingale's, what he left us. I thank him for that, because I now am understanding how to focus, and with the Colby assessment. So really getting to understand who I am and how I operate. And then sometimes I just sit back and it tickles me, because I've seen and heard all of the different remarks about me, throughout the years, and I laugh at where it came from. But in order to be successful, you really have to focus. In order to, it depends on let me go back to what you call success and what your goal of success is.
Yeah.
Really have to come to that point of focus. Now, I've experienced so many different avenues and industries and everything, but now at this point, I finally found my passion. My passion is naturopathic medicine and it's writing. So everything that I love to do is all encompassing there. Keep myself in balance, because of, my history. So keeping myself in physical balance, and then being able to offer that help to other people and being able to teach in the process. So when you're, I wrote a book and I'm published. And so being able to use that, and we had a successful book signing. We sold out. We sold out. Yay. So being able to walk in and you know what's so funny though? I have a quirky personality, and I finally gave myself permission to walk in it. It's okay.
Yeah, it is.
It's truly okay. That's another part of entrepreneurship that I love, because you can really be yourself.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Because I'm learning that, and I'm learning what that looks like. And one of the, not necessarily downfalls, but a place that people can get stuck, especially with social media, is seeing all the different entrepreneurs out there doing it their way. And because a part of marketing is essentially you are trying to set yourself up to be the authority in your space. And so there's all these people in these authoritative type positions because they've created, themselves as authorities. So then you can get as an entrepreneur trying to find your way lost in all these other people's like processes and methods and philosophies and all that other stuff. And so I love what you just said, because it is about figuring out, like, not necessarily figuring out who you are, but just like being who you are, and like allowing that to spread through your business. And it brings up, I think entrepreneurship is more than just like trying to make money on your own. I think it makes you face and deal with a lot of things personally, because with entrepreneurship, you are literally creating this level of like vulnerability for yourself, because you're putting your ideas out there, you're putting your business out there, you're putting yourself out there in a very vulnerable like space, and like sharing what you care about and what you're passionate about and what's near and dear to your heart. And that also creates the space for people to essentially say, oh no, I don't like that, or I don't agree with that, or I don't want to buy that, or I'm not going to support that. And like it just, and that makes you have to have tough skin, but it makes you have to dig deep and pull out any type of issues you have with like rejection, and like being able to fully be yourself and know that you can be yourself and exist in a space as an entrepreneur, and someone else can also exist in their space and not want what you have to buy. And that doesn't diminish your value as a human being. It just wasn't a good fit. And it's okay. They can have their opinion and you can still have your business. You don't have to shut down because somebody said, oh, they don't like the way that you design that shoe that you're trying to sell, or, things like that. So I think it just makes you really pull deep, like dig deep and pull out some stuff that you probably either have been suppressing or that you didn't even know was there until you got that negative review. And you're like, oh, that hit somewhere here. I need to figure out what that was, or why that hit so hard.
Well, I think thinking about that, there's three things that I wanted to pull out. Three things that came to mind. One is finding your own voice,
Hmm.
and it's finding your unique voice, because you can pull a piece from here, a piece from here. Like I still have a piece from Paulette running around with me,
Yeah.
within me. I have a piece from my mom, even though she was an entrepreneur, but she said, do your best no matter what you're doing, whether you're sweeping streets, cleaning toilets, or whether you're running the United States of America, just do your best at it. So I got that piece in there. So grabbing all these little pieces, Maya Angelou, Still I Rise, Cicely Tyson, all of these, Angela Bassett, I've pulled some of her strengths and her, what's love got to do with it, fighting back, you know what I'm saying? Some Regina King, and, all of these people, some Muhammad Ali. They was like, why you get up when you got hit? He said, because the mat is not a place for a champion. So he already had that programmed in his head. He heard his own, that was his own voice of himself. So a couple of things. One, somebody's opinion of you is really not your concern. And that's what I had to really get. Like these things I had to really get there. It's not my concern. Why? Because I was a people pleaser and I wanted everybody to like me, But if everybody likes you, there's a problem, because everybody is not going to like you, and it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had to find out that here's a good one. Everybody don't like ketchup.
I like that. Talk about it.
So everybody doesn't like ketchup, and it's okay. See, sometimes when people say no to whatever products or services we're offering, we take it personally. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not the quality of the service. As long as you know that you've checked off your spaces and you're serving in excellence and you're doing what it is that you are called to do and you're walking in your purpose, everybody don't like ketchup. So
Yeah.
everybody don't like it. So it doesn't mean it has anything to do with you or even the sandwich that you prepare for them. They say, no, I don't like ketchup. Why would we take it personal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's the one thing. And I had to really, really get that in my brain. Really, because wait a minute, yes, you do. Don't you like the tomatoes? Don't you like the No, they just don't like ketchup. It has nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
Then the other thing is, I learned this from Earl Nightingale, was create, don't compete. Because
Mm-hmm.
you're so unique and you're so special and uniquely made that when somebody tries to copycat or duplicate you, it'll never be the original. Doesn't matter. It will
Yeah.
never be the original. So we have to walk in our originality and who we are. And it took me a long time to even think that that was good enough. And
Mm.
so I got so much out of the book signing, with the support, the outpour of people really, it just gave me even greater sense of accomplishment and sense of, wow, you belong at the table. And
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing to me, all of the opportunities that came about. And I started writing before 95, 96. I
Yeah.
started writing and was just so afraid that somebody was going to steal my work, or that, we have all these negative things running around in our brain, these negative scripts. But it's like when you start peeling that onion loose,
Mm-hmm.
taking those layers of onion, those layers of peel off, and realizing that a lot of things is really, what is it? Fear, false evidence appearing real. When you
Yeah.
start seeing that, then you breathe a different, you walk different, you think different, you
Mm-hmm.
even sleep different.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That's so affirming. I hope that's affirming to anybody that is watching, that is an entrepreneur, maybe having some challenges or difficulties trying to find like their space in the industry. It's not, I don't even think it's about finding your space. It's about creating your space. Like, because you're the only one that can create your unique space in the industry, in the world, as an entrepreneur, creator, a business owner. Um, yeah, I think even in that, it's also, there's all the affirming, but there's also a space of like, we also have to learn how to be humble, and understanding like when you differentiate between you and your service. For example, using the ketchup scenario that you gave, which I thought was really cool. Everybody doesn't like ketchup. However, if someone also was like, your ketchup has an expiration date of last month, like that's feedback. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's feedback that is to better your service. That's not a personal insult. That's like, like I'm trying to help you be better, do better, and serve a higher quality product. So I think we also have to at times, like as business owners, be okay accepting feedback and saying, oh yeah, you're right, I did mess that up, or oh yeah, you're right, this, and be able to like communicate consciously with our customers and those people that we serve, that it is our utmost intention to serve in excellence and to provide you with the best quality. And maybe I did mess up on this occasion. How can I accommodate that for you? Like, I think just learning how to navigate both ends. And again, like you said, not taking it personal. Like this is, I think there are people that are trolls that are just going to troll your business, and they just want to mess stuff up and be messy. But some stuff, for like me, I'm very much so, and I think it's because I'm an entrepreneur. If I do notice that someone that is providing a service, the quality isn't quite what it should be, I on especially if it's a small business. Now, if it's like a huge franchise or something like that, and they've been doing this for 100 years, you know better. But if it's like a new business or a small business or a local business, I will literally like try and go and talk to the person or like take them aside and say, hey, this happened or that happened, not publicly humiliating people or anything, like just really trying to have that conversation before you just like go blaspheme them on, reviews and stuff like that, because everybody's trying and everybody's learning. But on the other end of that, as the business owner, you have to be willing to accept that person like me that comes back and says, oh, hey, like, this wasn't quite the best, like, or this happened or that happened. Like, how can we fix that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's all good, real good information, real good feedback. You know, that's very good. Something that you were saying too, pride and ego. You know, it's like when somebody gives you that constructive criticism, that you take it as that and even thank them for it. Because oftentimes, especially consumers or customers, they will not come back. They will be dissatisfied, not come back, and not even give you the opportunity to get it right, and then
Mhm.
they'll go blast you and everything or what have you. So it is it's good feedback when some, and then going over and above. I've had incidents where people have went over and above, and I would let them know on the spot, or let their managers know on the spot, you know what, this person just saved me as your customer, because they
Yeah.
went over and above, and they did. So I just think that that's a entrepreneurship, is it can be, like you said, very, very rewarding, but it is not for the faint at heart.
No, not at all.
You'll have your ups and your downs and your all arounds, your roller coaster rides. And some days, like you said, you'll want to pull the covers over your head. And then, I also want to talk to the people that may be, that may have some sort of a disability, or felt like, because something happened to you, an accident or injury or something, kind of derailed you or what have you. I go back to, my story, which is another book that's coming out. But, you know, even if you have some type of, injury that you have to deal with or you have to maintain, never let that stop you from reaching your goals. Never let that stop you. It's just a different experience. It's a different way that you're going to get there. I have to get up constantly and I have to move around. If I don't, I won't be able to drag my legs out of here, because they will swell up. But that's lymphatic fluid. So you have to go into whatever the issues are, and you have to be able to press beyond those issues and say, you know what, this is the challenge or the circumstance, but guess what? It's not going to define me. It's not going to stop me from achieving, even if
Mm.
it may take me from beyond 95 to 2021. Somebody said, good God, girl, that's like 20 something years. I said, you know what? I'm just grateful.
Yeah. What is it?
I'm
Better
just
now than
grateful.
never.
Yes. But again, you get all kinds of feedback and you
Yeah.
decide where you're going to put that feedback. But I just wanted
Yeah.
to encourage my people that are out here that, that are striving for entrepreneurship. There is, I mean, you could send us some information, put it in the comments, or even send us some information on something that we can assist you with. We have an accountability group, and that's kind of what spawned today's topic, because we have an accountability group to help each other to be accountable. And it's always good to have a mastermind group all successful, wealthy people, and wealthy meaning success in their business or successful in life, they all have mentors, they have coaches, they have accountability groups, they have accountability partners, they have somebody other than themselves as their own frame of reference. But let me tell you this, iron sharpens iron. So you have to be willing to be vulnerable in your group, in your mastermind. You have to be willing to accept that you don't know everything, because if we knew everything, then we would already have arrived. Then there would be nowhere to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm. Yeah,
That
no,
was
that's
good. I
good.
like to just
That
kind
was
of
really good.
meditate, marinate on that.
Okay. I do have a question for you. I know we probably coming up on time, but I have a question for you.
Sure.
Do you remember what your first entrepreneur like endeavor was? Like, what was the first thing that you were like, I'm gonna do this? What was it?
Well, I'm going to start here, and then you can ask me the question a little bit more in detail,
Okay.
because actually it was at 10 years old when I had a paper route in a babysitting job. It
Oh,
was from
I never knew
10, it
that.
was like 10 to 14. So I started babysitting at 10, and then at 14, I added my next endeavor, which was a paper route. I was the only little girl, paper girl, with my little red wagon, and I was getting up early in the morning before the birds sang, and I would hear them sing, and I would hear the sunrise. So, and mind you, I was still, going to school and everything, but it was the paper route. It was a paper route and a babysitting job, and I had two, and I was,
Mhm.
yeah, that was my first, as far as in before my adulthood.
Yeah, that's interesting because and this is why I just like these conversations, because even though how you said that, like, you weren't surrounded by entrepreneurship and but you babysat at 10, that was my first entrepreneurial thing. I babysat because you had a daycare, and when the daycare stopped, there were a couple of kids that still wanted. So I think I was like in middle school. So that's still probably around like 11, 12. So my first entrepreneurial thing too was also I think it was Baby Haven babysitting. I was a babysitter as well. That's pretty cool. So regardless
Isn't
of the
that
fact that
something?
you didn't have entrepreneurship, I did have entrepreneurship in the home. God has a way of making stuff happen or allowing it to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely, he does. And I just, I've just learned that no just tells me, okay, no, not this way, but find another way.
Yeah.
That's it. No, it's not a finality. It's not just no. It's okay. That's what I hear. Now, everybody hears something different. Some
Mhm.
people will go and sit down on the couch when somebody says no. I'm not wired that way. But learning how we're wired and learning, like I said, I have to have good, healthy people around me, because they have to grab me, because I will go jump out of plane. I mean,
Yes. Mm-hmm. All the things.
yeah, but it is finally a good thing to really understand how you're wired, because like we were talking about earlier, you can be very successful when you find out how you're wired and you embrace yourself. And then we talked about shutting out other people's voices, shutting out the negativity, shutting out the naysayers, shutting all of that down, and not letting those tapes replay in your mind, because we act out. We talked about, and we can go ahead and close on this note, but we talked about how things are actually an idea or a thought first. I used to work with a franchise entrepreneur, a franchise attorney, and he talked to me about how Panera Bread became about. It was a thought, but it was like Chicago bread or Chicago bakery first, and then their mastermind got together and they named it Panera. Panera was nothing until it became something, and
Yeah.
now everybody knows where Panera is or what Panera Bread is.
That's so exciting to me.
Me too. It turns me on too. Light bulbs come on, like, wow, we could do that, And then I want to show you this one thing too. It's a plug too, but this is smoothie time. It was a thought.
It was.
It was a thought first. And then when I took it to Mr. Sherrod Cohen, who has his own Cohen Enterprises, he said, well, let's put the cover on the cup, because that's how I wanted cups. And he was able to produce this. And this is the cover of the book.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just my thinking that anything, yay, it's time. a little shameless plug there. But it just goes to show that anything that you can think of, you can achieve it. You just have to believe it and not let anybody or anything stop you or deter you from it.
Yep.
So my dear entrepreneurship, you know that we will talk, we'll have some more entrepreneurship talk for you guys, because it just, you know, for me, it's inspiring for somebody else to share their story of achievement and not giving up. And
Mhm.
you all, this is just the beginning. Y'all haven't seen nothing yet. I think there's a couple more planes. Now they got the accountability group to say, hold on, wait a minute, y'all, get a landing pad somewhere. And then two, I'm not afraid to be the person to put the landing strip out for my other fellow entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid to support, not afraid to share what I've learned, and say, hey, that wall right there is a brick wall. You keep bumping your head on that wall, it's not going to come down. How about going through this door, my sister or my brother? So
Yeah, that's so good. That's
yes.
so good. I think a lot of times that's where a lot of entrepreneurs find frustration is where it feels like there aren't people that are willing to do that part. It's like, oh no, you have to pay me $50,000. And I completely get that. I'm not saying don't pay for services because you do need to invest in yourself. But I'm also saying that there are people that are willing to at least guide you in the direction before you get to the stage where you're prepared to do that. So I guess that would be my final thought in terms of like, if you are interested in entrepreneurship and you feel that tug, don't like suppress it. Just figure out what your next step is. You don't have to create the entire business tomorrow, but what is your next step? You know,
Right.
just figure that thing out and then just take it step by step by step.
Absolutely. Well, my dear, this has been another amazing conversation. And, you know, I do believe that we are reaching, even if we reach one person and help them to achieve their goals, you know, or to reach back. And like you said, I'm having a ball with the conversations because we're able to share some things that, like, wait a minute, you know, I mean, oftentimes family don't actually just sit back and share. Like, I would have missed the whole conversation with my great aunt had we not just been sitting there. And she was like, oh my dear, and she just started talking, and I was just like, oh my god, this is the answer. This is where the entrepreneurship, you know, it's in our, it's hereditary, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyhow, it's been awesome sharing this time. Don't forget, you all, like, share, and subscribe. Share this information with somebody else. You never know who has an entrepreneurial seed deep down inside of them that you can just water with our voices. So until next time, make sure that you stay fearless. Bye for now.